Chapter 1 The Enchanted Halloween Ball Chapter 1 The enchanted Halloween ball in the heart of Spooksville, where shadows danced playfully beneath the silvery glow of the harvest moon, the air was thick with anticipation. The townsfolk had spent weeks preparing for the annual Halloween ball, a celebration that blurred the lines between the magical and the mundane. Last week, Lila had stumbled upon a hidden glen, where she overheard whispers of a secret spell that could grant her one wish. With her heart set on winning the affections of Prince Jack, the enigmatic heir to the throne of the Fae, she had concocted a plan that would either make or break her dreams. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm golden hue over the cobblestone streets, Lila stood in front of her mirror, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and anxiety. She had chosen a shimmering outfit that hugged her figure just right. A midnight blue dress that sparkled like the night sky, with delicate lace sleeves that fluttered like the wings of a butterfly. The fabric felt soft against her skin, and she twirled, watching the hem swirl around her like a cloud of stars. Tonight was the night she would finally catch Prince Jack's eye. The town square was alive with energy, a kaleidoscope of colors and sounds. Lila stepped outside, the crisp autumn air filling her lungs with the scent of caramel apples and spiced cider. Lanterns hung from every corner, casting a warm glow that illuminated the faces of her friends, who were gathered in clusters, their laughter ringing like chimes in the night. Girls in tight jeans and sparkling tops flitted about, their excitement palpable as they prepared for the festivities. "Lila, over here," called out her best friend, Mia, her voice cutting through the chatter. Mia was dressed as a witch, her black dress flowing elegantly around her as she waved her wand playfully. "You look amazing. Are you ready to steal the show?" Lila felt a blush creep up her cheeks. "I hope so. But first, I need to find Jack. Have you seen him?" Mia's eyes sparkled with an ethereal beauty that seemed to draw everyone's attention. "Great," Lila muttered, forcing a smile. "Just what I need. Come on, don't let her get to you," Mia said, nudging her playfully. "You've got this. Just be yourself." Taking a deep breath, Lila squared her shoulders and made her way through the crowd. The music swelled, a haunting melody that wrapped around her like a warm embrace. She could see Jack now, his dark hair tousled and his eyes glimmering like emeralds. He stood tall, exuding an air of confidence that made her heart race. As she approached, she overheard snippets of their conversation. "I've heard tales of the enchanted glen," Alara said, her voice smooth like silk. "They say it holds secrets that can change your fate." Lila's heart quickened. The glen. She had to tread carefully. If Alara knew about the spell, it could ruin everything. She cleared her throat, stepping into their line of sight. "Hey, Jack." Alara. Jack turned, his expression brightening as he caught sight of her. "Lila, you look incredible." "Thanks," she replied, her voice a mix of excitement and nerves. "I was just passing by." "What are you two talking about?" "Oh, just some old legends," Alara replied, her smile charming yet slightly condescending. "You know how it is in Spooksville. There's always a story lurking in the shadows." Lila felt a flicker of tension in the air, a subtle challenge that hung between them. "I love stories," she said, forcing a smile. "Especially the ones that come true." Jack's gaze shifted between the two girls, a hint of confusion crossing his features. "What do you mean?" Before Lila could respond, Alara interjected, her voice dripping with sweetness. "Lila was just saying how much she loves the Halloween ball. It's a magical night, isn't it?" "Definitely," Jack agreed, his eyes lingering on Lila. "But it is the people that make it special." Lila's heart soared at his words, but Alara's presence loomed like a dark cloud. "Well, I'm sure we'll all. Lila's stomach twisted. Right. Who you're with, she echoed, her voice barely above a whisper. She could feel the weight of Alara's gaze, a silent competition that ignited a fire within her. Why don't we grab some drinks? Jack suggested, breaking the tension. I could use something to take the edge off. Great idea, Lila said, eager to steer the conversation away from Alara's veiled jabs. They made their way to the refreshment table, where the scent of spiced cider mingled with the sweetness of pumpkin pastries. Lila poured herself a cup, the warm liquid soothing her nerves. So, what's your plan for tonight? Jack asked, leaning closer, his voice low and inviting. Lila's heart raced. I was thinking of exploring the haunted maze later. I heard it is filled with surprises. Jack chuckled, his eyes sparkling with mischief. Surprises, huh, I like surprises. Maybe I'll join you. Her breath caught in her throat. Really? You'd want to? Of course. It sounds like fun, he replied, his smile disarming. Besides, I could use a partner who isn't afraid of a little adventure. Lila felt a rush of hope. This was her chance. Then it is a date, she said, trying to sound casual, though her heart raced at the thought. Before Jack could respond, Alara appeared at their side, her expression unreadable. Oh, are you two planning to get lost in the maze? How quaint. Lila clenched her jaw, refusing to let Alara's words dampen her spirits. Yeah, it should be fun, she replied, forcing a smile. You should join us. Alara's lips curled into a smirk. I think I'll pass. I prefer to stay where the lights are bright and the company is more interesting. Lila felt a surge of frustration. Well, maybe you'll miss out on something amazing, she shot back, her voice sharp. Chapter 2 The mysterious invitation. The moon hung high over Spooksville, casting a silvery glow that danced upon the cobblestone streets, illuminating the whispers of magic that lingered in the air. Lila had never felt so alive, her heart racing with the thrill of the upcoming Halloween ball. Just days ago, she had stood in the town square, surrounded by her friends, the anticipation of the event swirling around them like the autumn leaves that crunched beneath their feet. But it was the moment she received the mysterious invitation that had truly set her world ablaze. The invitation had arrived on a crisp autumn morning, delivered by a raven that perched on her windowsill, its glossy feathers glinting in the sunlight. Lila had gasped as she unrolled the parchment, the shimmering ink swirling into words that promised enchantment and surprises. It was a call to adventure, a chance to step beyond the ordinary and into a night filled with magic. But there was something more, something hidden within the invitation that she had yet to uncover. Now, as she stood in front of her mirror, Lila could hardly recognize herself. Her reflection revealed a girl transformed, her dark hair cascading in waves around her shoulders, framing a face lit with excitement. She wore a deep emerald dress that hugged her figure, the fabric shimmering like the night sky. It was a daring choice, one that made her feel both beautiful and bold. But it was the invitation that weighed heavily in her pocket, a reminder of the night's mysteries yet to unfold. Are you ready yet? Zara's voice broke through Lila's reverie, her tone teasing yet laced with impatience. Lila turned to see her friend leaning against the doorframe, arms crossed, her signature tight jeans accentuating her confident stance. Zara's style was as daring as her personality. Tonight, she wore a black crop top adorned with silver sequins that sparkled like stars, her hair pulled back into a sleek ponytail. Almost, Lila replied, her voice barely above a whisper. I just need to find the right shoes. Forget the shoes. You look amazing. We're going to be the stars of. Handsome, charming, and shrouded in an air of mystery. But he was also unattainable, a figure who seemed to glide through the town like a shadow, always just out of reach. "I don't know if he'll even notice me," she admitted, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Are you kidding? With that dress and your charm, he won't be able to take his eyes off you." Zara's encouragement was infectious, and Lila felt a flicker of hope ignite within her. "Now, let's get going before we miss the best part of the night." As they stepped out into the cool night air, the sounds of laughter and music drifted from the town square, where the ball was already in full swing. Lanterns hung from the trees, casting a warm glow over the festivities, and the scent of caramel apples and spiced cider wafted through the air, mingling with the crispness of autumn. Lila's heart raced as they made their way through the throngs of townsfolk and magical creatures, each one dressed in costumes that sparkled with enchantment. "Look at that!" Zara pointed to a group of fairies flitting about, their wings shimmering like gossamer in the moonlight. "I bet they're up to no good." Lila laughed, her nerves easing as she took in the sights around her. "What do you think they're planning?" "Probably some sort of mischief. You know how fairies are," Zara replied, her eyes glinting with excitement. "But we're here for our own adventure, right?" "Right," Lila agreed, her heart pounding with anticipation. But as they approached the entrance to the grand hall, she felt the weight of the invitation in her pocket, a reminder that there was more to this night than just dancing and laughter. "Are you ready to see what's inside?" Zara asked, her voice low, almost conspiratorial. Lila nodded, her pulse quickening. "I just hope it is everything I dreamed it would be." As they stepped through the archway, the sight that greeted them took Lila's breath away. The hall was transformed into a wonderland of twinkling lights and vibrant colors, with tables laden with treats and decorations that seemed to come alive under the moon's glow. Music filled the air, a melody that beckoned them to join the celebration. "Let's find a spot to dance," Zara exclaimed, tugging Lila toward the center of the room. But Lila hesitated, her gaze drifting to the far side of the hall where a group of elegantly dressed guests gathered, their laughter ringing like chimes in the night. "Wait," Lila said, her voice barely audible over the music. "I need to check something first." "What is it?" Zara asked, her brow furrowing in confusion. Lila pulled the invitation from her pocket, the shimmering ink glinting in the light. "It said it could only be opened under the full moon," she murmured, her heart racing as she glanced around. "I think I need to do it now." Zara's eyes widened. "You're serious? Here, now?" "Yes," Lila insisted, her determination growing. "I have to know what it says." With a deep breath, she stepped away from the crowd, seeking a quiet corner where the moonlight streamed through a large window, illuminating the invitation in her hands. The air felt charged with energy, and Lila could almost hear the whispers of magic swirling around her. "Okay, here goes nothing," she whispered, her fingers trembling as she unfolded the parchment. The shimmering ink began to glow, swirling into a new message that danced before her eyes. "Tonight, under the full moon, your heart's desire shall be revealed. But beware, for not all that glitters is gold. Trust in your instincts, and the truth shall guide you." Lila's breath caught in her throat. What did it mean? Her heart raced as she felt a mixture of excitement and trepidation. The invitation was more than just a call to the ball. It was a promise of something deeper, something that could change everything. "Lila." Zara's voice broke through her thoughts, and Lila turned to see her friend approaching, a look of concern etched on her face. "What's wrong? You look like you've seen a ghost." I think there's more to this invitation than I realized," Lila confessed, her voice trembling with the weight of her revelation. "What do you mean?" Zara asked, her curiosity piqued. "It said something about my heart's desire being revealed tonight, but it also warned me to be careful. The transformation. The moon hung high over Spooksville, casting a silvery glow that danced across the cobblestone streets, illuminating the path to the enchanted forest where the annual Halloween ball awaited. Lila stood before her mirror, her heart racing with anticipation. The shimmering invitation had promised a night of magic, and she could hardly believe it was finally here. Just hours ago, she and her friends had gathered in her room, laughter echoing as they adorned themselves in outfits that sparkled like the stars above. Lila's tight jeans hugged her curves, glimmering with every movement, while Zara's daring ensemble was a riot of colors that seemed to defy gravity. "Are you ready, Lila?" Zara called from the hallway, her voice a mix of excitement and impatience. "We can't be late. The moon won't wait for us." "Just a second," Lila replied, adjusting her hair one last time. She took a deep breath, trying to calm the butterflies swirling in her stomach. Tonight was not just about the ball. It was about Prince Jack. The thought of him sent a thrill through her, but it was tinged with anxiety. Would he notice her? Would he see her as more than just the girl who played pranks and made jokes? As they stepped outside, the cool night air enveloped them, fragrant with the scent of autumn leaves and the distant aroma of caramel apples from the town square. The streets were alive with laughter and music, but Lila's focus was solely on the path ahead. The enchanted forest loomed in the distance, its trees swaying gently as if beckoning them closer. "Look at that!" Zara exclaimed, pointing to the shimmering lights that flickered like fireflies among the trees. "It's even more beautiful than I imagined." Lila's heart raced as they approached the entrance, a grand archway woven from branches and adorned with glowing orbs. The moment they stepped inside, a tingling sensation washed over her, as if the very air was charged with magic. She glanced at Zara, whose eyes widened in awe, and felt a surge of confidence. The spell had begun. "Wow, I feel different," Lila said, her voice barely above a whisper. As they ventured deeper into the forest, the sounds of laughter and music grew louder, wrapping around them like a warm embrace. The air was thick with enchantment, and Lila could feel her heart pounding in rhythm with the pulsing energy of the ball. They emerged into a clearing, and the sight before them took her breath away. The grand ballroom was a spectacle of light and color, with creatures of all kinds mingling beneath a canopy of twinkling stars. Fairies flitted about, their wings shimmering like diamonds, while werewolves and witches danced together, their laughter echoing through the trees. Lila felt a rush of exhilaration. This was where she belonged. "Let's find some drinks," Zara shouted, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "I need something to toast to this magical night." Lila nodded, her gaze scanning the crowd. And then she saw him. Prince Jack stood across the clearing, his dark hair tousled, his striking features illuminated by the soft glow of the lanterns. He was surrounded by admirers, but his eyes seemed distant, as if searching for something, or someone. "Go talk to him," Zara urged, nudging Lila forward. "You've got this." Lila hesitated, her confidence wavering as she watched Jack laugh with a group of friends. He looked so at ease, so perfect, and she felt small in comparison. But the magic of the night surged through her veins, urging her forward. She took a deep breath and stepped into the throng of dancers, her heart racing with every step. As she approached, Jack's gaze flickered toward her, and for a moment, time stood still. The world around them faded, and it was just the two of them, suspended in a moment of possibility. Lila's breath caught in her throat, and she felt a rush of warmth spread through her. "Lila," he called, a smile breaking across his face. "You look incredible." "Thanks, Jack," she replied, her voice steady despite the fluttering in her stomach. You look, Jack chuckled, and the sound sent a thrill through her. I can see that. You've definitely outdone yourself tonight. Just as she felt the warmth of connection growing between them, a shadow flickered at the edge of her vision. Lila turned, her heart sinking as she spotted a figure lurking behind a tree, cloaked in darkness. The figure's eyes glinted like shards of glass, watching them intently. She felt a shiver run down her spine, but when she looked back at Jack, he was still smiling, oblivious to the presence that sent a chill through her. Are you enjoying the ball? He asked, drawing her attention back to him. It's amazing, she replied, forcing a smile. I can't believe how magical it is. Yeah, it is something else, he said, glancing around. But I can't shake this feeling that something's off tonight. Lila's heart raced. What do you mean? He hesitated, his brow furrowing. I don't know. It's just there's a tension in the air. Like something is about to happen. Before she could respond, the music shifted, a haunting melody that sent a ripple of unease through the crowd. The dancers slowed, their movements becoming more deliberate, as if they were caught in a spell. Lila's heart raced as she glanced back at the shadowy figure, which had moved closer, its presence looming like a dark cloud. Jack, do you see that? She whispered, pointing toward the figure. He turned, his expression shifting from curiosity to concern. What is that? I don't know, but it feels wrong, Lila said, her voice trembling. We should. Suddenly, the figure stepped into the light, revealing a woman cloaked in dark fabric, her face obscured by a hood. The crowd gasped, and a hush fell over the ballroom. Lila's heart raced as the woman raised her hands, a soft glow emanating from her fingertips. Welcome, creatures of the night, the woman's Chapter 4. The Dance of Shadows. The moon hung high over Spooksville, casting a silvery glow that danced across the cobblestone streets, illuminating the faces of the townsfolk as they gathered for the annual Halloween ball. Lila, with her heart racing and her spirit alight, had felt the thrill of magic in the air since receiving the shimmering invitation that promised enchantment. Clad in her sparkling tight jeans, she had twirled with her friends, Zara and Mia, feeling the pulse of excitement as they entered the enchanted forest. But as she caught Prince Jack's eye, she couldn't shake the feeling that something dark lurked just beyond the glow of the festivities. The grand dance began with a flourish, the music weaving through the trees like a silken thread. Lila felt the rhythm in her bones, the enchanting melody urging her to move. She twirled, her jeans glimmering like stars in the moonlight, and laughed as she spun into Zara, who was equally caught up in the magic of the moment. Look at us! Zara exclaimed, her voice bubbling with joy. We're practically glowing. Mia, ever the pragmatist, rolled her eyes but couldn't suppress a smile. Just don't let it go to your head. We still have to keep an eye on that shadowy figure. Lila nodded, her gaze drifting back to the edge of the clearing where the trees grew denser. The figure she had seen earlier was still there, cloaked in darkness, watching with an intensity that sent a shiver down her spine. She tried to shake off the unease, focusing instead on the laughter and the music that enveloped her like a warm embrace. As the dance continued, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation. Couples spun and swayed, their laughter mingling with the haunting notes of the musicians hidden among the trees. Lila felt a surge of confidence, her heart racing as she caught sight of Prince Jack moving gracefully through the crowd. He was a vision in his tailored suit, the moonlight catching the angles of his face, making him look almost ethereal. Go on, Lila, Zara urged, nudging her forward. This is your moment. With a deep breath, Lila stepped toward him, her heart pounding like a drum. Thanks. You too, she replied, her cheeks flushing. I was hoping to dance with you. Just as he extended his hand, the atmosphere shifted. The music faltered, a discordant note slicing through the harmony, and the laughter faded into an uneasy silence. The shadowy figure stepped forward, revealing herself as a striking sorceress, her dark hair cascading like a waterfall of midnight. Her eyes glinted with malice, and her lips curled into a smirk that sent a chill through the crowd. "Ah, the little girl with dreams too big for her own good," she sneered, her voice smooth as silk but laced with venom. "I've come to ruin your little ball." Gasps rippled through the crowd, and Lila's heart sank. "Who are you?" she demanded, trying to mask her fear with bravado. "I am Selene, the sorceress of shadows," she declared, her voice echoing through the clearing. "And tonight, I will show you the true meaning of despair." With a flick of her wrist, Selene unleashed a wave of dark energy that swept over the dancers. Lila felt it wash over her, a cold grip that tightened around her heart. Suddenly, the music surged back to life, but it was no longer a melody of joy. It transformed into a frantic, chaotic rhythm that compelled everyone to dance uncontrollably. "No!" Lila shouted, struggling against the spell that pulled her limbs into a wild frenzy. She glanced at her friends, who were also caught in the thrall, their faces a mix of confusion and fear. "Lila!" Mia cried, her voice barely audible over the cacophony. "We have to break free." Lila's mind raced. She remembered the stories her grandmother had told her about the power of friendship and unity. "Hold on to each other," she shouted, reaching for Zara and Mia. They grasped her hands tightly, forming a circle amidst the chaos. "On the count of 3, we focus on the magic of our friendship," Lila instructed, her voice steady despite the turmoil around them. 1, 2, 3. As they concentrated, a warm light began to emanate from their clasped hands, pushing back against the darkness that threatened to consume them. The chaotic music faltered, and for a moment, the spell weakened. Lila could feel the energy of her friends flowing through her. With a final surge of determination, they pulled against the spell, and the light exploded outward, enveloping them in a protective cocoon. The music shifted again, this time transforming into a harmonious melody that resonated with their hearts. The spell shattered, and the dancers fell to the ground, gasping for breath as the darkness receded. Selene staggered back, her expression shifting from triumph to fury. "You think you can defy me?" she hissed, her eyes narrowing. "This isn't over." With a wave of her hand, she vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a lingering chill that settled over the clearing. The crowd slowly began to rise, confusion etched on their faces as they processed what had just happened. "Lila, that was incredible!" Mia exclaimed, her eyes wide with admiration. "You saved us." Lila felt a rush of warmth at her friend's praise, but her heart still raced with the remnants of fear. "But what was that? Why did she target us?" Zara shook her head, her brow furrowed. "I don't know, but she seemed to have it out for you specifically. We need to figure out what she wants." Just then, Prince Jack approached, concern etched on his handsome face. "Lila, are you all right?" he asked, his voice low and soothing. "I'm fine," she replied, though the tremor in her voice betrayed her. "But we need to be careful. She's dangerous." "I'll protect you," he promised, his gaze steady and reassuring. "Whatever it takes." Lila felt her heart flutter at his words, but the weight of the night's events pressed heavily on her. "We need to find out more about Selene. There must be a reason she's after us." As the music resumed, albeit more subdued, Lila felt a sense of determination settle within her. She would not let fear dictate her night. With her friends by her side and Prince Jack's the quest for the crystal, the moon hung high in the sky, a luminous orb casting silver beams over the enchanted forest, illuminating the path ahead. Lila stood at the edge of the woods, her heart racing with a mix of excitement and trepidation. Just moments ago, she had been swept up in the whirlwind of the Halloween ball, dancing under the spell of magic and mischief. But now, the stakes had risen. The sorceress's curse loomed over them, and to break it, they needed to find the magical crystal hidden deep within this very forest. Are we really doing this? Zara's voice broke through Lila's thoughts, her tone a blend of apprehension and determination. The bold girl adjusted her shimmering jeans, which sparkled like the stars, and shot Lila a look that was both challenging and supportive. Of course we are, Lila replied, her voice steadier than she felt. We can't let that sorceress ruin our night. We have to find the crystal. She glanced back at their friends, who were gathered close, their faces illuminated by the ethereal glow of the moonlight. Each of them wore expressions of resolve, but Lila could sense the undercurrent of fear. Right, said Theo, the quiet but fiercely loyal member of their group. He brushed a hand through his tousled hair, his eyes darting nervously toward the darkened trees. But how do we even find this crystal? The forest is huge. According to the legends, Lila began, recalling the tales she had heard from her grandmother, the crystal is guarded by a spirit. A playful spirit who loves to play tricks on those who seek it. We'll have to outsmart it. Great, Zara muttered, crossing her arms. Just what I wanted. More tricks. I can barely handle the ones from the sorceress. Let's just stick together, Lila urged, her heart pounding in her chest. We can do this. We're stronger as a team. With a collective nod, they stepped into the forest, the air thick with the scent of damp earth and pine. The trees loomed overhead, their branches twisting like gnarled fingers against the night sky. As they ventured deeper, the sounds of the ball faded away. Remember, it is all about the game. If we can keep our wits about us, we might just win. As they walked, the moonlight danced through the branches, casting playful shadows that seemed to flicker and dart around them. Lila felt a thrill of adventure coursing through her veins, but it was tinged with anxiety. What if they failed? What if the sorceress's curse was too strong? Look, Zara exclaimed, pointing ahead. Is that? A flicker of light appeared between the trees, a soft glow that pulsed like a heartbeat. Lila's breath caught in her throat. It must be the spirit, she said, her voice a mix of awe and fear. They approached cautiously, the light growing brighter as they neared. Suddenly, it burst forth, revealing a small figure hovering in the air. A mischievous spirit with sparkling wings and a grin that could light up the darkest night. Welcome, welcome, the spirit chimed, its voice like the tinkling of bells. I am Flick, the guardian of the crystal. What brings you to my enchanted domain? Lila exchanged glances with her friends, her heart racing. We're here to find the magical crystal, she said, trying to sound confident. We need it to defeat the sorceress. Flick's eyes twinkled with mischief. Ah, the sorceress. A tricky one, indeed. But tell me, why should I give you the crystal? What makes you worthy? Zara stepped forward, her hands on her hips. We're brave, we're clever, and we're not afraid of a little challenge. Just give us a chance to prove it. The spirit floated closer, its expression playful. Very well, I love a good game. If you can solve my riddle, I shall grant you passage to the crystal. But fail, and you'll be lost in my forest forever. Lila felt a surge of determination. We accept your challenge. Listen closely, Flick said, its voice dropping to a conspiratorial whisper. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? The group fell silent, the weight of the riddle hanging in the air. Lila's mind. Flick clapped its tiny hands, the sound echoing through the trees. Correct. You are clever indeed. But can you solve one more? Bring it on, Zara said, her confidence returning. Very well. Here it is. I can fly without wings. I can cry without eyes. Wherever I go, darkness flies. What am I? Lila closed her eyes, letting the words wash over her. It is a cloud, she shouted, her heart racing as she opened her eyes to see Flick nodding in approval. Impressive. You have proven yourselves worthy. Follow me. The spirit twirled in the air, leading them deeper into the forest. As they followed Flick, the trees began to thin, revealing a clearing bathed in moonlight. In the center stood a pedestal, and atop it, the crystal shimmered like a star fallen from the heavens. It pulsed with a soft, inviting glow, casting a warm light over their faces. Lila's breath caught in her throat. It's beautiful, she whispered, stepping forward. Not so fast, Flick warned, hovering protectively over the crystal. To claim it, you must face one final challenge. You must confront your greatest fear. Lila's heart sank. What do you mean? Each of you must face a vision of your fear. Only then will the crystal reveal its true power. Zara's bravado faltered, her eyes wide. What if we can't face it? You must try, Flick insisted, its voice firm yet gentle. You are stronger than you think. One by one, they stepped forward, each taking a turn to confront their fears. Lila watched as Zara faced a vision of failure, her dreams slipping through her fingers like sand. Theo battled the fear of being alone, shadows creeping around him, whispering doubts. The spirits challenged. The moon hung high over Spooksville, casting a silvery glow that danced upon the cobblestone streets, illuminating the remnants of the Halloween ball. Lila, Zara, and their friends had narrowly escaped the clutches of a jealous sorceress, but their victory was bittersweet. The night had promised enchantment, yet it had been marred by chaos. Now, with the weight of their quest pressing down on them, they ventured deeper into the enchanted forest, determined to find the magical crystal that could break the sorceress's spell. As they walked, the air thickened with the scent of damp earth and fallen leaves, a reminder of the forest's ancient magic. Lila's heart raced, not just from the thrill of the adventure, but from the lingering gaze of Prince Jack, who had watched her with a mixture of admiration and concern. She could still feel the warmth of his presence, a flicker of hope amidst the shadows that threatened to engulf them. Are we sure this is the right way? Zara asked, her voice laced with both excitement and apprehension. She adjusted her shimmering jeans, which sparkled like the stars above, and glanced around, her eyes wide with curiosity. I mean, it is not like the spirit left us a map or anything. Lila chuckled, trying to ease the tension that hung in the air. Well, if we keep following the path, we'll find something. Spirits are known for their tricks, but they also love a good game. Maybe we'll get lucky. Lucky. Or unlucky. Zara shot back, a playful smirk on her lips. I'd prefer not to end up as a spirit's plaything. As they ventured further, the trees grew denser, their gnarled branches twisting like fingers reaching for the sky. The moonlight barely penetrated the canopy, casting eerie shadows that danced along the forest floor. Lila felt a shiver run down her spine, but she pushed it aside, focusing on the camaraderie of her friends. They were in this together, and together they would find the crystal. Suddenly, a soft giggle echoed through the trees, light and airy, like the tinkling of wind chimes. The girls halted. Starlight, welcome, brave souls, she chimed, her voice melodic and teasing. I am the spirit of this forest, and I see you seek the crystal. But first, you must prove yourselves worthy. Lila's breath caught in her throat. What do we have to do? The spirit clapped her hands, and a flurry of shimmering lights swirled around them, illuminating the forest in a kaleidoscope of colors. Games. I love games. You must complete 3 challenges, each designed to test your wit and agility. Succeed, and the crystal is yours. Fail, and you may find yourselves lost in the forest forever. Zara's eyes sparkled with mischief. Bring it on. We're not afraid of a little challenge, right, Lila? Lila nodded, her determination igniting. Right, we can do this. The spirit clapped again, and the first challenge materialized before them. A series of floating platforms suspended in midair, each one shimmering with an ethereal glow. To reach the next level, you must jump from platform to platform without falling. But beware, each platform will disappear after you land. Lila felt a rush of adrenaline. We can do this together. Just follow my lead. With a deep breath, she launched herself onto the first platform, her feet landing lightly as it shimmered beneath her. The thrill of the jump sent a surge of energy through her veins. Come on, Zara, she called, glancing back at her friend. Zara followed, her movements graceful and confident. I've got this, she shouted, leaping onto the next platform, which flickered momentarily before vanishing into the air. Lila watched as Zara's laughter echoed, a sound that filled the forest with warmth. One by one, they jumped, each leap more daring than the last. Lila felt the rush of wind against her skin, the exhilaration of the challenge igniting her spirit. They worked in tandem, encouraging each other, laughter mingling with the soft rustle of leaves. Finally, they reached the last platform, and with a final leap, they landed together, breathless and triumphant. The spirit clapped her hands, her eyes sparkling with delight. Well done. You have completed the first challenge. Lila beamed, her heart swelling with pride. What's next? The spirit grinned, her expression mischievous. For the second challenge, you must solve a riddle. The air around them shifted, and the spirit spoke the riddle, her voice echoing like a gentle breeze. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with the wind. What am I? Lila furrowed her brow, her mind racing. It is an echo, she exclaimed, the answer bursting forth like a firework in her mind. Correct. The spirit cheered, her laughter ringing through the trees. You are clever indeed. Now, for the final challenge, you must face your greatest fear. Lila's heart sank. What do you mean? The spirit waved her hand, and the forest transformed around them. Shadows twisted and morphed, creating a darkened landscape that felt both familiar and foreign. Lila's breath quickened as she recognized the scene. A memory from her past, a moment of vulnerability that had haunted her. Lila. Zara's voice broke through the haze, filled with concern. What's happening? I don't know, Lila stammered, her heart racing. The shadows loomed larger, whispering doubts and insecurities that clawed at her mind. I can't do this. Lila, you're stronger than this, Zara urged, stepping closer. Remember who you are. You've faced challenges before. You can face this one. Lila closed her eyes, taking a deep breath. She could feel the warmth of her friends beside her, their unwavering support grounding her. I am not my fears, she whispered, her voice steadying. I am brave. I am Lila. With that declaration, the shadows began to recede, the darkness lifting as light flooded the space around them. The spirit watched with a proud smile, her eyes shimmering with approval. You have conquered your fear. You are truly worthy of. The moon hung high over Spooksville, casting a silvery glow that danced across the cobblestone streets, illuminating the chaos that had erupted at the Halloween ball. Lila and her friends had just returned from the depths of the enchanted forest, clutching the magical crystal that could save them from the sorceress's wrath. The air crackled with tension as they approached the grand hall, where laughter and music had turned into screams and chaos. The sorceress, her dark silhouette framed by the flickering lights, was wreaking havoc, her eyes glinting with malice as she sent waves of magic crashing through the crowd. "Stay close," Lila shouted, her heart pounding in her chest. Zara, ever the bold one, gripped her arm tightly, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and determination. "Are you sure this will work?" Zara asked, her voice barely above a whisper, the weight of their mission pressing down on them. "It has to," Lila replied, her grip tightening around the crystal, its surface cool and smooth against her palm. "We can't let her ruin this night for everyone." As they stepped into the hall, the scene was one of utter chaos. Guests were scattered, some frozen in place, others caught in a whirlwind of panic. The sorceress stood at the center, her dark gown swirling around her like a storm cloud, her laughter echoing ominously. Lila's heart sank as she spotted Prince Jack, his handsome face twisted in confusion, his eyes darting around as if searching for a way to escape the madness. "Lila," he called, his voice cutting through the chaos. "What are you doing here?" "I'm here to stop her," Lila shouted back, her voice steady despite the fear gnawing at her insides. She could feel the weight of the crystal in her hand, its power thrumming with potential. "Then you need to hurry," Jack urged, his expression shifting from confusion to concern. "She's too strong." Lila took a deep breath, her friends rallying behind her. "We can do this together," she said, her voice firm. "We have the crystal. It's time to confront her." With a determined nod, Lila stepped forward, the crystal glowing faintly in her grasp. The sorceress turned, her eyes narrowing as she caught sight of Lila and her friends. "Ah, the little girls think they can challenge me," she sneered, her voice dripping with disdain. "Your reign of terror ends tonight," Lila declared, her heart racing as she raised the crystal. "With this, I can break your spell." The sorceress laughed, a chilling sound that sent shivers down Lila's spine. "You think that trinket can defeat me? I was once like you, full of hope and dreams. But jealousy turned me into this." She gestured to herself, her fingers crackling with dark energy. "You'll never understand the power I wield." Lila's mind raced. The sorceress had been a girl once, just like them. But that didn't excuse her actions. "You don't have to be this way," Lila shouted, her voice rising above the chaos. "You can change. You can let go of your jealousy." The sorceress's expression faltered for a moment, a flicker of something vulnerable crossing her features. "Change? You think it is that simple?" She spat, her voice laced with bitterness. "You don't know what it is like to lose everything." "Maybe not," Lila replied, her heart aching for the sorceress. "But I know what it is like to fight for what you love. You can still choose to be better." The sorceress's eyes narrowed, and she raised her hands, summoning a wave of dark magic that surged toward Lila and her friends. "Enough of this nonsense. You will pay for your insolence. Now," Lila shouted, and with a surge of courage, she thrust the crystal forward. A brilliant light erupted from it, illuminating the hall and pushing back the dark magic. The air shimmered with energy, and Lila felt a rush of warmth as the crystal's power enveloped her. The sorceress staggered back, her expression shifting from anger to shock. "No, this can't be," she screamed, her voice rising in desperation. Lila could feel the magic coursing through her, a connection to the very essence of the enchanted forest. "You're not alone," she cried, her voice echoing with conviction. "You can find your way back." The light from the crystal intensified, wrapping around the sorceress like a cocoon. For a moment, Lila thought she saw a flicker of recognition in the sorceress's eyes, a glimmer of the girl she once was. But then, with a final, defiant scream, the sorceress unleashed a wave of dark energy that collided with the crystal's light. The resulting explosion sent shockwaves through the hall, and Lila felt herself be. When the chaos subsided, Lila blinked against the sudden brightness. She found herself lying on the ground, the crystal still clutched in her hand, its glow now a soft, steady pulse. The hall was eerily quiet, the guests frozen in place, their expressions a mix of awe and fear. Lila. Zara's voice broke through the silence, and Lila turned to see her friend scrambling to her side. "Are you okay?" "I think so," Lila replied, her heart racing as she pushed herself up. "What happened?" "The sorceress, she vanished," Zara said, her eyes wide with disbelief. "It's like she just disappeared." Lila glanced around, searching for any sign of the sorceress. But why? She was so powerful. Maybe she realized she didn't want to be that person anymore, Jack said, stepping forward, his expression thoughtful. "You reached her, Lila. You showed her there's another way." Lila felt a swell of hope in her chest, but it was tinged with uncertainty. "But what if she comes back? What if she can't change?" "Then we'll be ready," Zara said, her voice steady. "We've faced her once. We can do it again." Lila nodded, but a lingering doubt gnawed at her. The sorceress had been a girl once, just like them. What if jealousy and bitterness were more powerful than they realized? As the guests began to stir, the music slowly returned, filling the hall with a sense of normalcy. Lila stood, brushing herself off, her heart still racing from the confrontation. She glanced at the crystal. The moon hung high above Spooksville, casting a silvery glow over the cobblestone streets, where laughter and music intertwined in a symphony of enchantment. The Halloween ball, a night of magic and mystery, had taken a tumultuous turn. Lila stood at the center of the chaos, heart racing, as the sorceress revealed her tragic past. The air crackled with tension, the remnants of the spell still swirling around them like a tempest. Lila's friends, Zara and the others, watched with wide eyes, their earlier excitement now replaced by a mix of fear and curiosity. The sorceress, once a figure of menace, now seemed more like a lost soul, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. "Why would you want to hurt us?" Lila asked, her voice steady despite the turmoil around them. "You were just like us once. You wanted to be loved, to be seen." The sorceress's expression shifted, a flicker of vulnerability breaking through her hardened exterior. "You don't understand," she whispered, her voice trembling. "I was cast aside, forgotten. Jealousy consumed me, and I thought if I couldn't have love, no one should." Lila took a step closer, the crystal in her hand pulsating with a warm light. "But you don't have to be alone anymore. We can break this curse together. I forgive you." The words hung in the air, heavy with meaning. The sorceress's eyes widened, a mixture of disbelief and hope flickering across her face. "Forgiveness. After everything I've done?" "Yes," Lila affirmed, her heart swelling with compassion. "We all make mistakes. You can choose to be better. Let us help you." Zara, standing beside Lila, crossed her arms, her brow furrowed. "Are you sure about this, Lila? She could still turn on us." But Lila shook her head, her resolve unwavering. "I can't let fear dictate my actions. She deserves a chance." The sorceress hesitated, her gaze darting between Lila and the chaos around them. The music had faded into a haunting melody, the guests frozen in a dance of despair. "You would really forgive me?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Of course," Lila replied, her heart racing. "We can lift the spell together." You don't have to be alone anymore. The sorceress's expression softened. Trust comes with time, Lila said gently. But we can start now. Together. With a deep breath, the sorceress stepped forward, her hands trembling as she reached for the crystal. What do I need to do? Just believe, Lila urged, placing the crystal between them. Let's channel our magic together. As their hands met around the crystal, a surge of energy pulsed through the air, illuminating the darkened ballroom. The sorceress's eyes widened in surprise, and for the first time, Lila saw a glimmer of the girl she once was, a girl who had longed for acceptance and love. Close your eyes, Lila instructed, her voice steady. Feel the magic within you. Let go of the pain. The sorceress hesitated but then closed her eyes, her breath steadying as she focused on the warmth radiating from the crystal. Lila felt the energy shift, a connection forming between them, binding their intentions and hopes. Together, Lila whispered, and the sorceress nodded, her expression softening as she surrendered to the moment. As they concentrated, the chaos around them began to fade. The spell that had gripped the ballroom loosened its hold, the guests slowly regaining their senses. Lila could feel the magic swirling, a vibrant tapestry of colors weaving through the air, illuminating the darkness that had enveloped them. Let go of your jealousy, Lila urged, her voice rising above the din. Embrace the love that surrounds you. The sorceress's face contorted with emotion, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, she cried, her voice breaking. I never wanted this. I just wanted to be loved. Lila squeezed her hand tighter, the warmth of the crystal enveloping them both. You are loved. You just need to believe it. With a final surge of energy, the crystal erupted in a brilliant light, enveloping the ballroom in a warm glow. The music swelled, a joyous melody that echoed through the enchanted forest, for so long was lifted, and she stood before Lila, her eyes wide with wonder. I'm free, she whispered, disbelief coloring her voice. Yes, Lila said, her heart soaring. You are free. The atmosphere shifted from chaos to celebration, the townsfolk embracing the newfound joy that filled the air. Lila's friends rushed to her side, their faces alight with excitement and relief. Did you see that? Zara exclaimed, her eyes sparkling. You did it, Lila. You really did it. Lila smiled, her heart swelling with pride and happiness. We did it together. The sorceress, now free from her curse, stepped forward, her expression earnest. Thank you, Lila. I never thought I could be forgiven. I thought I was destined to be alone forever. You're not alone anymore, Lila replied, her voice warm. You have us now. We can be friends. The sorceress's smile widened, and for the first time, Lila saw the girl she had once been. A girl filled with dreams and hopes, now rekindled by the power of forgiveness. As the night wore on, the ball transformed into a celebration of unity and acceptance. Lila danced with her friends, the music swirling around them like a warm embrace. The moonlight bathed the ballroom in a soft glow, illuminating the joy that had blossomed from the ashes of jealousy. But as Lila twirled, she couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning. The sorceress, now a friend, had a story yet to unfold, and Lila sensed that the magic of Spooksville held more secrets than they could imagine. Lila, Zara called, her voice cutting through the laughter. Look over there. Lila turned to see Prince Jack standing at the edge of the dance floor, his gaze fixed on her. His expression was a mix of admiration and something deeper, a flicker of understanding that sent a thrill through her. Come on, Zara urged, pulling Chapter 9 A New Beginning. The moon hung high over Spooksville, casting a silvery glow on the cobblestone streets, where laughter and music intertwined in a jubilant symphony. The Halloween ball had transformed from a night of chaos into one of celebration, thanks to Lila's bravery and the unexpected alliance with the sorceress. As the last remnants of the spell faded, the townsfolk rejoiced, their spirits lifted by the magic of forgiveness and newfound friendship. Lila stood at the edge of the dance floor, her heart racing as she watched the revelry unfold. The vibrant colors of the decorations swirled around her, and the air was thick with the scent of caramel apples and pumpkin spice. She felt a sense of triumph, but also a lingering uncertainty. The sorceress, now transformed back into a girl named Alara, was mingling with the crowd, her laughter ringing like a melody. Lila couldn't shake the feeling that this was just the beginning of something much larger. "Lila, come on, join us," Zara called, her voice bright and inviting. She was surrounded by their friends, all of them still glowing from the magic of the night. Lila hesitated, her gaze drifting to Prince Jack, who stood a few feet away, his eyes fixed on her with an intensity that made her heart flutter. "Go on, Lila, you deserve this moment," Zara urged, nudging her forward. "You're a hero tonight." With a deep breath, Lila stepped onto the dance floor, her tight jeans shimmering under the enchanted lights. The music swelled, and she felt the rhythm pulse through her, igniting a fire within her. As she twirled, she caught Jack's eye, and he smiled. A warm, genuine smile that sent butterflies fluttering in her stomach. "May I have this dance?" he asked, extending his hand toward her. "Of course," Lila replied, her voice barely above a whisper as she placed her hand in his. He led her to the center of the dance floor, where the world around them faded into a blur. It was just the two of them, surrounded by the magic of the night. And sincere. "I've never seen anyone stand up to a sorceress like that." Lila blushed, her cheeks warming under the moonlight. "I couldn't have done it without my friends. We all worked together." Jack nodded, his gaze unwavering. "But you were the one who showed her kindness. That's something special." The music shifted to a slower tempo, and Lila felt herself leaning closer to him, the warmth of his body radiating against her. "I just thought maybe there's more to her story than we knew," she confessed, her heart racing. "I wanted to believe she could change." Jack's expression softened, and he brushed a stray hair behind her ear. "You have a big heart, Lila. It's rare to find someone who sees the good in others." As they swayed under the stars, Lila's mind raced with thoughts of the night's events. The sorceress's transformation had been a revelation, a reminder that everyone carried their own burdens. She wondered what Alara's life had been like before jealousy consumed her. "What about you, Jack?" Lila asked, her curiosity piqued. "What do you see in me?" He paused, his eyes searching hers. "I see someone who isn't afraid to fight for what's right. Someone who believes in the power of friendship and love." Lila's heart soared at his words, but a flicker of doubt crept in. "But what if I'm not enough? What if I can't live up to that?" Jack's grip on her waist tightened, and he leaned closer, his breath warm against her cheek. "You're more than enough, Lila. You've already proven that tonight." Just then, a burst of laughter erupted nearby, drawing their attention. Alara was surrounded by a group of townsfolk, her eyes sparkling with joy. Lila felt a pang of envy mixed with admiration. The sorceress had been given a second chance, and she was embracing it fully. "I hope she finds happiness," Lila murmured, her voice tinged with longing. "She will," Jack replied, his tone reassuring. "You showed her the way." As the dance continued, Lila's thoughts drifted to the future. What would happen when the night ended? Would Alara remain a friend, or would she slip back into the shadows of her past? And what about her own feelings for Jack? The connection they shared felt electric, but she feared the weight of expectation that came with it. The music slowed to a gentle lull, and Jack pulled back slightly, his eyes searching hers. "Lila, there's something I need to tell you." Her heart raced, anticipation mingling with anxiety. "What is it?" "I've been thinking about what happened tonight, about how you stood up to the sorceress. It made me realize that I want to know you better. I want to be part of your life, if you'll let me." Lila's breath caught in her throat. "You mean?" "I mean I want to be more than just friends," he said, his voice steady. "I want to explore whatever this is between us." A rush of warmth flooded through her, but doubt lingered in the corners of her mind. "But what if it doesn't work out? What if we ruin our friendship?" Jack smiled softly, his eyes filled with understanding. "We'll never know unless we try. And I believe that whatever happens, we can handle it together." Lila's heart swelled with hope, yet a part of her hesitated. "I've never felt this way about anyone before," she admitted, her voice trembling. "What if I mess it up?" "Then we'll learn from it," he replied, his thumb brushing against her cheek. "But I'd rather take the risk than wonder what could have been." In that moment, the world around them faded away, leaving only the two of them suspended in time. Lila felt the weight of his words settle in her heart, and she knew she had a choice to make. She could embrace this new beginning, or she could let fear hold her back. Taking a deep breath, she nodded, her decision solidifying. "Okay, let's see where this goes." Jack's face lit up with a radiant smile, and he leaned in closer, their foreheads almost touching. "You won't regret it." As the music swelled once more, they resumed dancing, their movements fluid and harmonious. Lila felt a sense of freedom wash over her, as Chapter 10 The Legacy of Spooksville. The moon hung high over Spooksville, casting a silvery glow on the cobblestone streets that had witnessed countless tales of magic and mystery. The Halloween ball, once a night of chaos and enchantment, had transformed into a cherished tradition, a celebration of friendship, forgiveness, and the unbreakable bonds that tied the townsfolk together. Lila, Zara, and their friends had emerged victorious, their bravery and kindness not only saving the night but also redeeming the sorceress who had once threatened their joy. As the echoes of laughter and music faded into the crisp autumn air, Lila stood at the edge of the town square, her heart still racing from the whirlwind of emotions. The ball had ended, but the magic lingered, wrapping around her like a warm embrace. She glanced at Zara, who was animatedly recounting the night's events to a group of wide-eyed children, her tight jeans shimmering under the streetlights, a testament to their shared adventure. "Did you see the way Lila stood up to the sorceress?" Zara exclaimed, her voice a mixture of excitement and pride. "I thought we were done for when she started casting spells left and right." Lila chuckled, shaking her head. "I was terrified, but when I saw her pain, I knew we had to help her. It was the only way to break the curse." "Exactly." Zara nodded, her eyes sparkling. "You showed everyone that true strength comes from compassion. That's what makes you a hero, Lila." As the night wore on, the townsfolk began to disperse, their laughter fading into the distance. Lila felt a tug at her heart, a bittersweet sensation that came with the end of something magical. She turned to see Prince Jack standing a few feet away, his gaze fixed on her with an intensity that made her breath catch. "Lila," he said, stepping closer, his voice low and sincere. "What you did tonight was incredible. You didn't just save the ball, you saved her." Lila felt a blush creep up her cheeks, the warmth of his praise igniting a flutter of hope within her. Before Lila could respond, a sudden commotion erupted from the edge of the square. A group of children, their faces painted with excitement, rushed toward them, dragging a reluctant figure behind them. It was the sorceress, now transformed back into a girl, her long hair cascading like a waterfall of midnight, her eyes still holding a hint of the magic that had once defined her. "Can we keep her?" one of the children pleaded, eyes wide with wonder. "She's our friend now." Lila exchanged a glance with Jack, who raised an eyebrow, clearly amused. "Looks like you've made quite an impression," he said, his tone teasing. The sorceress, now known as Alara, smiled shyly, her cheeks tinged with pink. "I'm not sure I'm ready for a crowd just yet," she admitted, glancing at the children with a mixture of apprehension and longing. "Come on, Alara," Zara chimed in, stepping forward. "You're one of us now. We can show you how to have fun without spells and curses." Lila felt a surge of warmth at Zara's words. It was true. They had all learned something valuable that night. The power of friendship could break even the darkest of curses. "We can teach you everything," Lila added, her voice encouraging. "You'll see that there's more to life than magic." Alara's expression softened, and she nodded slowly. "I'd like that. I've spent so long hiding in the shadows, I forgot what it felt like to be part of something." As the children cheered, Lila felt a sense of fulfillment wash over her. They had not only saved the ball but had also forged a new beginning for Alara. The night was still young, and the promise of new adventures shimmered in the air. "Let's celebrate," Zara declared, her enthusiasm infectious. "We can have a bonfire at the edge of the forest. It'll be perfect." Lila's heart raced at the thought. The enchanted forest, where they had faced challenges and discovered the crystal, held memories of their bravery. "That sounds amazing," she agreed, glancing at Jack, who nodded in approval. As they made their way toward the forest, Lila felt a sense of unity among her friends. The tight jeans they wore, once a symbol of anything. The forest was alive with the sounds of rustling leaves and distant hoots of owls, the moonlight filtering through the branches like a silver veil. They gathered around a clearing, where Zara quickly set to work gathering sticks and twigs, her energy boundless. "Lila, can you help me with the fire?" she called, her voice bright against the backdrop of the night. "Sure," Lila replied, kneeling beside her as they arranged the wood into a makeshift teepee. The scent of damp earth and pine filled the air, grounding her in the moment. As the flames flickered to life, casting a warm glow around them, Lila felt a sense of peace settle in her heart. They were safe, together, and free to be themselves. She glanced at Alara, who was watching the fire with a mixture of awe and nostalgia. "Do you miss it?" Lila asked softly, sensing the weight of Alara's past. Alara turned to her, her expression thoughtful. "Sometimes. But I think I was so consumed by my jealousy that I forgot how to enjoy life. Tonight, I felt something I haven't felt in a long time. Hope." Lila smiled, her heart swelling with empathy. "You're not alone anymore. We're here for you." As the fire crackled and the stars twinkled overhead, the group began to share stories, laughter echoing through the trees. Jack leaned closer to Lila, their shoulders brushing, sending a thrill through her. "You really have a way with people," he said, his voice low enough for only her to hear. "You've changed everything for Alara." "I just did what felt right," Lila replied, her cheeks warming under his gaze. "It's what we all did. Still, it takes courage to stand up for others," he said, his eyes searching hers. "You inspire me, Lila." The sincerity in his voice made her heart race. "Thank you, Jack. That means a lot coming from you." As the night wore on, the fire crackled and the stories flowed, Lila felt a sense of belonging she had never known before.